Welcome back to another innovation review. Today we're going to be checking out the ElitePrime from Yadea. Now this is a scooter we had for a little bit, got to hang out in the neighborhood. We brought it out here to a local park down in Cypress, Texas. Some lake views, new little fishing over there, but this isn't a park review, this is a scooter review, so let's get back to that. Now let's go ahead and start with some of the touch points that we have here. So the first main touch point of scooter is going to be the grips. So the grips here, they're nice. They match with the handlebars really well. So the overall view of the cockpit, very sleek, very ergonomic. You know, the dash is right here in the display. We'll go into the shade and look at that in more detail in a minute. Then we've got, you know, the front light here. So the overall stuff, the overall thing, the overall, you know, is pretty slick. So going over here, we've got these nice grips. We've got our turn signal integration here. Very easy to access those by the thumb, and that means that you're going to be able to let people know, you know, if you're turning left or right, which is a cool safety feature to have on a scooter. You know, scooters can dart kind of left and right pretty easily, so letting motorists know, you know, where you're going or other cyclists is a cool safety feature to see. We do have this bell over here on this side, plenty loud, and it's actually like a pretty high quality bell. Now most of the time when we get them on, you know, some of the scooters, some of the e-bikes, I don't make that claim that it's high quality, but it's got a nice spring in here. It's got some good action, snaps back. So yeah, it's kind of a cool bell, and then it matches really well with the brakes that we have here as well. So it's mostly this gray silvery vibe on the top. Now the silver between this and the handlebars and some of the other metal components are, you know, this is a little bit different, but this matches really well with what we have over here on the deck and a couple other key aspects of the scooter. So all in all, it has a very refined look to it. This is the display. As we mentioned, we'll get into that a little bit more. We'll go in the shade where we can see it a little bit better. And then over here on the right hand side, another one of those nice grips, one of our brake handles, and then our thumb throttle right here. This has got a nice, you can hear that, nice spring to it. Feels nice, high quality. I like the little like thumb pad grip here. So you just pop down and boom, you're off to the races. When you fold it up, which we'll demonstrate here in a little bit, you've got this little latch down here, and that little guy is going to fit into right there, allowing you to pick it up, carry it, and then when you're not using it, stores away. Again, nice and sleek. Headlight up here is pretty nice, not super bright. You know, it's not 1,000, 1,200 watts or lumens, excuse me. Used to all these motor and power and stuff. Yeah, so not crazy bright, but it is bright enough, and the fact that it is up here instead of down here in front of the front wheel is nice, because that means that you know, motorists are used to looking maybe around this area for other headlights and things, and so it just puts you into their line of vision where they're used to looking out for lights coming at them, which is pretty sweet. Very minimal cabling up here. The brakes go right into here, kaboom, and it's just these two cables, which is honestly pretty dope if you ask me. Very sleek, very minimalist. Working our way down here, we've got some, you know, nice ElitePrime here on the side, some safety stickers because yeah, I like safety stickers. Down here for the folding mechanism, this is the same orange that we're going to see accented throughout the entire scooter here, and this is nice. It's got a little double action here, so pull this up, pop it down, and then once you pull this all the way down, the latch will come like this. It'll you know, it'll unlock. I guess I might as well do it while we're down here, huh? So boom, like this, and then it's going to swing down over on this side. You pop this back up if you want to, leave it down, whatever, and then to put it back up, pretty simple. Just snaps into place there, and it's already, I mean, it's not secured, but it is already got a nice little grip on it. Now we're just going to pop this bad boy on here. Super nice, super tight. We don't have any of that wobble or anything that we've seen on some scooters in the past, so that's pretty dope. Got a front reflector here. Good use of the space, in my opinion. You know, nothing special, but just good use of the space right here. You can't see it from, you know, up here, so aesthetically while you're in the cockpit, it doesn't really matter, and it's just going to give you a little extra safety if you're doing some nighttime riding. Down here on the side, we have got the charge port. And then when I first opened it up, I opened this before I got the charger out, and I was like, what is this? What is this? Well, it's actually a magnetic charger, so you have the charger. You pop it out and it just snaps to there. It charges. You can just, you know, pull it at the end. Kind of cool. It reminds me more of a MacBook Pro than a scooter. And then this also has a little bit of metal right here, metal-like material, and so then it just snaps back in there. Boom, you're good to go. One of the slicker charging setups that I've seen on a scooter to date. Pretty big fan of it. You know, there's interesting some pros and cons with the magnetic charging aspect to it. So if you guys have some pros and cons, let me know in the comments. I would like to be more informed as far as you know, if that's a good or a bad thing. Definitely is a cool thing, but is it a pro, is it a con? Let me know down in the comments. So let's do this. We're working our way down kind of backwards. So up here we've got our front wheel. Now these are air wheels, which is nice. Even though we have like this really nice suspension, which is on the other side, I probably should have maybe talked about those first. Having the air tires gives us a nicer ride feel. And we've got a front fender and a rear fender, meaning that we're going to protect our frame. All of the components here are going to be nice and clean, you know, despite yeah, getting to run through some water, some mud, or things like that. The decking here is nice. It's got some good grip. We've got decking all the way around here, all the way up to the back, so you can actually put your foot back here, rest it, kind of like we did on scooters back in the day. See some integrated lights right here as well. Again, they really took safety into consideration here, I think. So besides looking cool, it also is pretty safe, which is pretty nice. And we do have some good clearance too. So we've got about, I would say 6 inches of clearance or so. I might whip out the tape measure, get a little more scientific with it, but plenty to hop up and down, you know, most normal curbs, especially like, you know, neighborhood, smaller town, city vibe, that sort of curb. Nothing crazy, but regular curbs have no problem getting, you know, up and off if I want to. Nice suspension arms here. So we got the suspension arm, and honestly the suspension here is really dope. So I'm about 220, and generally with some of like the lower end scooter suspension, it'll bottom out pretty easily. You know, when I get on, I do some riding, jump off, but this feels like it is stiff enough to offer me like a really good ride, but also it feels like it has the capabilities for somebody who's a little bit lighter, it's not too stiff, and somebody who's maybe even a little bit heavier to still have a pretty nice riding experience on here. So all in all, suspension on this thing is, in my opinion, pretty top notch. Yeah, it's got a really cool ride feel to it. Again, we got another integrated light on this side. We've got our rear suspension right here. We got our brake on this side. Now this is a two-way brake, or reverse double brake. I forget exactly how they call it, but basically, as the tire's rolling forward, the regular brake caliper here that we're used to seeing on a lot of these scooters is here, but then there's also a reverse rotor brake that is inside as well. So when you pull on the brake, you are getting sort of force from both directions, which seems to be a little bit of a safer option. So far, the braking here has been pretty nice, so I don't have any complaints about it. Looks cool, works well. So yeah, not really a huge issue for me. Down here in the back, we have got our Yadea logoed taillight, which is a pretty cool, aesthetically, nice little thing here. And then another brake light down there. And again, we got this nice big fender, keeping everything nice and safe. And what's interesting about this one is this pretty much acts as a fender, this well back here. Now it's really nice for grabbing it. So if you're picking it up, you can grab it from here. It's a really good handle for moving it around. So it's almost like they didn't even need to put this here, other than giving us the light mounts and stuff. But it was cool that they did, because it just makes the whole thing seem a little bit more complete, in my opinion. And that's one of those things when you're looking at a scooter that's this price. It's like, well, hey, does the components match up to the price? Are you looking for performance? Are you looking for top speed? Those are things to consider here when we're looking at a scooter that's sort of above that $800 price range. What are you looking to get out of it? If you're looking for something that's aesthetically pleasing, honestly feature complete, everything that you really want from a scooter here, then yeah, the price tag makes sense. If you're somebody who's looking for top speed, performance, off-road capabilities, well then yeah, this wouldn't necessarily look like a good value to you in that sense. So it only goes up to 20 miles per hour, right? Which is pretty fast for a scooter. And I don't mean to say that there aren't scooters. I mean, there's scooters that go, 30, 40, 80, whatever you want as far as speed goes. So not really a huge deal, in my opinion, that it only goes 20 miles per hour. Would it be fun to go faster? Yes. I'd rather do it on a bike than a scooter. That's just my personal opinion, but there's a lot of people out there that really enjoy riding around on scooters, so that might be something that is a con for you on this one, is the top speed. Now, we haven't really covered too much as far as like the specs go, so let's go ahead and hit those. The motor we got here in the rear is going to be an 800 watt motor, and on its face, still pretty good. Again, thinking about being a scooter, but then it peaks out at 1500 watts. So when you do put it into X mode, it's pretty cool. I mean, it does feel very torquey, and it gets up to 20 miles per hour very quick. Now, it feels like it could go more, right? So it's one of those things that, if we had the ability, this thing probably would go 30 pretty easily, but it's capped out at 20, and I'm not sure if there's a way for us to upgrade that at all. The next big spec for us to cover is going to be the battery. So the battery here is a 696 watt hour battery. Now, Yadea claims this has a 20 mile minimum range, and while that does seem pretty realistic to me based on my riding and testing so far, it is one of the things that if you are heavier or you're going through like a lot of hills and starts and stops and things like that, you'll probably still be able to get around that. But if you want to exceed that, you probably have to go to a lower power level and then just use less energy. So I was looking at the GoPro footage here. It looks like the frame rate is not quite synced up, so you guys can't really see anything here. So let's go ahead and look at some of the lights, see if we can see those. So I'm going to press the turn signal here. Nice little beeping. There's an indicator there that you can't see. And then down over here you can see that this one is blinking, which is pretty dope. Go ahead and hit the right one. Go blinking on that side. So again, nice that we have this, this safety feature here. And I'll go ahead and hold down the power button here. Turns the scooter off. Isn't that lovely? Turn it back on again. Hit that power button, and that is going to turn on our, I guess off, I had the lights on. It's going to turn on our lights here in the front. Now, it's the middle of a 100-degree day here in Texas, so this isn't going to look exceptionally bright at night, or when it actually is a little bit darker. Like I said, not super bright, but it does a decent enough job for you to be able to go around, especially at lower speeds. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Go ahead and you can double tap this to change our mode. So we're in walk mode or human mode. All right, in drive. So let's go ahead and pop up here. Let me check this angle, see how this is going to be for the ride test portion. I think we'll be okay. Let's go ahead and kick it, and then we are good to go. So in drive mode, it's still going to take us to, it's going to take us to 15 kilometers per hour. And then we go ahead and double tap it. Puts us into sports mode there. It gets us up to 28, 29, 30. Gonna take us to our, pretty much our 20 miles per hour there. Now the difference between sports mode and X mode is just gonna be the torque and the power curve. So go ahead and hit the brakes, which we can skid if we want to. Like I mentioned, the braking here works a little too well. So let's go ahead and, let's do it in sports mode. So we'll start here. We'll go ahead and give it a little kickstart, and we'll go. So it's a nice, slower power curve, but it's still gonna reach that top speed right around 20 miles per hour. So go ahead and stop again. Try to do it in a way that doesn't make that huge noise. And then let's go ahead and put it into X mode. And something that's interesting is when you get the scooter, you can't just immediately put it into X mode. You have to drive, it's a kilometer on it. So you got a lot of get up and go. And then boom, we're pretty much at top speed right there. So this thing really does have a lot of power. And so that when you're, when you're really hammering and you're getting to that 1500 watts, this thing is just, it's just a monster. And I'm pretty sure you could wheelie it. I mean, it's like, yeah, might not come quite across in the video, but the difference is pretty apparent from sports mode and X mode. Yeah, I was like, whoa. but super quiet. I mean, I was way louder than the actual motor is. It is not loud at all. So to be so quiet and have that performance is pretty cool. And yeah, we can just cruise around like this for quite a while. Got a little, I don't want to call it a hill, but there's a little incline here. Now I've ridden this up a couple of different, you know, actual more steep inclines, and handles really well. So yeah, just cruising right along, gaining up speed on the other side. As far as braking goes, I've already demonstrated that a couple times, so you can see that yeah, braking works pretty good. As far as handling goes, got some really good curving. It almost feels more like kind of like a snowboard and some fresh powder with the way that the suspension is set up. So you can really do a little bit of carving. What is this thing over here? Contemplating hitting that. Contemplating hitting that, folks. But yeah, so we're just cruising. Kind of thinking about see if I can do a wheelie. Well, you know what they say about GoPros, folks. They stop working sometimes. So, rode around the lake. It was really awesome. Did a couple wheelies. Impressed a lot of people that were on the thing. Signed a couple autographs, and now we're back here. One thing I am definitely gonna recreate for you. Not the wheelies, not the impressing people, because you know that moment's past. So you have to take my word on that. Is we got this nice little dried up section over here that is pretty interesting. Kind of hit it, get some speed. Yeah, boy. I don't even think I need to do that little hop at the end. I think if I hit that going fast enough, and you know me, we're gonna try hitting it going fast enough. I think I just hold on. Might be able to get some air on the other side. Again, pretty impressive. Brakes. Skid out, which is crazy on a scooter. Again, just kind of feels a little bit like, yeah, like a snowboard. So let's hit some speed here. Let's go ahead and see if we can't hit this at the right angle. Okay, all right. Well, I didn't quite get air there, but I bet you if we went fast enough off that, we could jump into it. Let's do that. I'll try it once POV, and then we'll do another COV, the camera's a view. No, it didn't work. Never mind. Forgot I said anything. That is a lot of fun. Yeah, it feels like you're come to a stop with the snowboard. All right, go ahead and see about hitting this. I think you want to hit it right about here. Woo! All right, folks. All right. That is a lot of fun. Too easy. Well, guys, we have had quite a bit of fun out here on the ElitePrime from Yadea. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know down in the comments. I'm also going to have all the specs and such down there because we didn't really cover too many of the specs. You guys want to know deck length, deck height, all that sort of jazz. That will be in the description so you can make an informed buying decision. And like I said, if you got any questions for me, let me know. Love talking to you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.